You know, we know about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. We have plastic islands the size of continents now. We've got five islands of plastic, or 5 continents of plastic in the 5 gyres, slowing things down. The plastics affect the reflectivity of the sun on the water. It exacerbates the greenhouse effect, and it adds to the rising water temperatures. And this, of course, involves coral bleaching, which starts messing with the very foundations of our food chain. So the oceans are our cradle of life. Respect your mother. We're poisoning ourselves with our own wastefulness, and it's baffling to think that 200 years ago we were an agrarian society where the biggest impact we ever had was probably to divert a stream so we could, run a water wheel to grind the grain. Our energy consumption was literally geared by the amount of sunlight that we had for each day, and that we could be utilized in a day. Life was in real time. There was no stored energy. The system was self-regulating. But then came along whale oil, the first attempt for humans to live beyond what daily sunlight could provide in energy. And then came coal and oil and kerosene and gasoline and natural gas. All of these provided the opportunity to burn beyond our daily energy budget. We burrowed into the ground to dig up these stores of ancient sunlight, striking an unnatural juxtaposition between our exploding population and the finite resources of carbon-based fuels. This is a false equation. It cannot endure. Carbon-based fuels, as we know, are not sustainable. Geology is the study of heat, pressure, and time. Every time there's a new borehole, it disturbs the delicate balance of geologic, hydrologic, and atmospheric pressure. We punch enough holes in the earth, we create sinkholes, earthquakes, disturb the pressures in the aquifers, clog the atmosphere with carbon emissions, and change the flows of the gyres. And the whole thing careens off course, and then as a species, we die. I mean, Mother Earth will be fine. She'll shake us off like a bad case of fleas. We know this. Anybody here a diver? Okay. I want to just draw an analogy on diving. This is a great example of external and internal forces. Think of this as the pressures that we're talking about with our planet, with our atmosphere and our geological and hydrological pressure. Well, every time when we dive, we experience another whole atmosphere every 33 feet. We breathe pressurized air so that the nitrogen and oxygen in our bloodstream and blood vessels can counteract with the appropriate internal pressure to withstand the pressure of the ocean. We carry lead weights to take us down. We carry BCs to bring us up. And with that, we find this. Isn't my speech lovely?
It's very colorful.
Well, I didn't want to have to read it, so I made like little color notes on it. And boy, it turned into a rainbow, didn't it?
Just like today.
Right. So this combination of technology allows us to breathe underwater with these tremendous pressures and feel like it's perfectly normal and there's nothing going on. Interesting. You get one little hole in the air hose of your regulator and all of a sudden everything changes. Now it's a mad dash to get to the surface, but not too fast or you'll embolize yourself or get the bends. So I think of that as the same balancing act we have here on Earth with internal and external pressures below and above. We cannot mess with this equation. We are all divers engaging in a precarious balancing act, and there are no second chances. We are not special. We are not lordly humans who can subjugate nature to our will. And the only reason we've even had time to become Homo sapiens is the fact that we have experienced in the great timeline of our planet this weird little blip where we've had a relative amount of climatic stability in the big picture of billions of years. And in that brief time, we've been able to reach a point of hubris, of righteous false pride that lets us think that we're separate from the environment, forgetting that one deadly pandemic or one vast ice shelf breaking off from the Antarctic can cause an instantaneous and cataclysmic rise in sea level, or one period of global superstorms, or a rash of man-made earthquakes, or random volcanic eruptions. Any of those could reduce us to a bunch of naked, quaking hominids in a cave, literally or figuratively, just about ready to eat each other. No joke. We feel like we're insulated from nature with comfortable homes, air conditioning, internet, refrigerators full of food. And how easy it is to forget that we're an integral part of the big picture as dependent on the environment as we ever were. We think we're untouchable, but we're not. And at any given time, on any given day, we are only a few days away from primitive survival mode. It is said that man makes plans and Mother Earth laughs. We can never forget that she brought us into this world and she can take us out. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So true.
Okay.
Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Hello, my name's Nicole. I'm one of the new leaders of VPEC and also the leader for Florida Environmental Coalition. And I have been in this realm of political environmental issues since childhood, as a teenager. Some of you guys may be familiar with Miss Ellen Peterson and Save Our Creeks. My father founded Save Our Creeks. Met Miss Ellen out on Fish Eating Creek, became fast friends and family members almost immediately. EPEC is also another one of Miss Ellen's babies. So just giving you a little background that I'm also indigenous to Florida, Japanese and Caucasian. So I have grown up throughout Florida a bit differently than most everyone else. I year-round had 4 different homes, still have to this day 4 different homes throughout Florida that we stay in periodically throughout the seasons, throughout the year, throughout my whole lifetime, my family's lifetime. It still happens. So what I have seen and been a part of is how Florida's waters are affected by everything. And what we have had to deal with is Lake Okeechobee and our farming industry, the whole agricultural industry. Yes, I want to go back over this whole land buying deal. Yes, we need to buy it. Yes, we need to take it and use it for good things. Store water to treat it, sure. That is a secondary plan. You guys really need to start fighting for a real plan. The plan that will work. It's very simple. This plan does not include taxpayer money. We do not have to beg, borrow, and steal from our government to fix our water. It's very simple. We have to get our governing officials. We don't really have time to wait for the political process to vote in everybody that will vote the way we want to. We don't have that time. I wish we did, and we're making great strides, but here's the facts. We have to gather together as people all across Florida, everywhere. Like Betty stated, the water will not move south because it's federally protected land. It can't and it won't. It's not a plan. It was Amendment 1, to have you guys even vote on it, was a farce to begin with because they knew it was not in the restorative path, it wasn't in the right locations to be used, and once they did get it, they wouldn't be able to cross federal lands without having clean water. They know this, and they came up with a farce of a plan to have you guys vote on to mislead you to buy some more years of them to continue doing what they're doing. This is what we have to do, guys. It is really this simple. We have clean water regulations and laws already in place. We need to have those enforced. If our governing officials do not, we, the people, actually can. In numbers, we can. So, what my plan is, and a plan of a few others, is to actually, instead of treating all of these agricultural entities, including FPL, as we can't treat them as enemies any longer. Are they? Yes, they are. But if you go attack someone and say, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, and you got to do this and you got to do that, we ourselves personally are never very receptive to that, so neither is a huge corporation. So what our first step and idea is to literally get together petitions in numbers and groups, and a few of these group leaders are going to actually go to these agricultural business offices and have a sit-down meeting. We have backup plans to offer these farmers and these agriculture people. Here are your green options. here are your options to continue doing business and no longer harm the environment around you. How do we do that? I'm sure you guys are very wondering, how do we, the people, do that? Without attorneys, without politicians, how do we do that? This is how we do that. The politicians actually kind of already did it for us. Water management, back in 2006, 2007, I may be off a year, there was a motorsports business, some people that I knew personally owned. They were shut down. It was called CNR Motorsports out off of 27 in Palmdale. I'm going to say Glades County, could have possibly been Hendry County. I forget where those lines are out there. But the deal is, my friends, the wife of one set of owners and the husband of the other set of owners did 2 years house arrest. I don't remember how many millions of dollars they had to pay back. But water management said that they were causing pollution by dropping oil from the different 4x4s and whatnot that were out there. So they were shut down, thrown down fines, and put on house arrest. Then they further, in doing that, made a mandate across Florida. Florida Water Management made this law. You have to, if you're a motocross sports complex, like some people are familiar with the Redneck Yacht Club or Devil's Garden, or Florida Tracks and Trails. I know there's another one, some floating thing out towards Immokalee. The deal is, us environmentalists don't have to worry about those mud parks anymore, because water management made a mandate that they have to have a very huge, tall, wide berm all the way around their property. Why? So whenever we have flooding here in Florida, their dirty water from the mud park with all the oil cannot spill over into our environment. None of these mud parks are allowed to operate without keeping and maintaining all of their own water with a protected berm all the way around it. They already enforce it. They've put people in jail over it. Just regular people who happen to have, property, or happen to have a friend that leases some property to them, they've already put them in jail. Just regular people like you and me. Jail and millions of dollars in fines. Why haven't, at the same time, Florida Citrus, I don't want to say Florida Citrus in particular, Florida's agricultural companies and entities have not been held to this standard. That law has not been enforced on them. They need to be forced to keep and maintain their own water. Any water that leaves their property has to be treated before it comes back into our waterways. They get to use our water for free. We don't get any money for it. It's our water. They're killing us by polluting our water with their things. In all actuality, the responsibility lies with the business owners. They are the ones that are perpetrating the crime against humanity with this water, and we've been letting it happen. We have to insist that they start putting in water treatment plants north of the lake. They need to start cleaning the waters before they even get into the lake. That's the only way to save Lake Okeechobee. We have to stop treating Lake Okeechobee like the enemy. She is not our enemy. She is Florida's lifeblood. She is the closest thing to mother we have, and we are treating her, stop Lake O, Lake O this, Lake O's horrible. No, guys, quit that. Lake O, I'm sorry. She is Florida's lifeblood, and if we don't fight to clean her and get her fixed, no amount of sending the water south is ever going to fix anything. It's just going to kill the rest of Florida. It already goes out both sides and is killing everything here and over there. You're going to let it come right down the middle and just go ahead and take out all of Florida? No, people, we have to stay very focused. Our politicians and other business leaders, they keep getting us sidetracked with these little projects that are not going to do any good. We have to insist that they start making these businesses and counties and cities put in water treatment plants to take care of their water before it leaves. Do we have legal standing on that? Yes, we do, because they're already doing it to all the Florida mud parks. So that very same rules and those very same laws should apply to every other business that has the potential to poison our waterways. And for some reason, our politicians have let every single agricultural business out there, they've let them totally fly on all of the clean water regulation laws and all of the laws of keeping and maintaining your own water to keep the public safe. The laws are there, they've been enforced on others. It's time that we insist it's enforced on the agriculture companies. That's it. That's it.
Thank you. Excellent.
Let's march for that.
I think that would be best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
March for the truth.
That's along the line.
Let's march for a solution. Everybody already knows who to blame. Everybody already knows who the bad guys are. We've got to move past that. We've got to go to the next step. Next step, okay, you're all bad. We can't do anything with you. Turn your back on the bad people. Keep walking and do what you know has to be done. And it'll be done. Let's do it. And I've got some awesome teammates.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Especially these guys.
It's a great image. Don't fake it. I know you. It's very real, but did you like?
Oh, yeah.
All right, but I need to see your faces.
Just stage your spontaneity.
I'm trying to stage your.
Oh gosh, she likes seeing you guys together. Oh yeah.
I'm trying to stage your.
We need a march and a walk reunion photo.